Let's kick off episode 4 by going through all of the transfers from season number 4, starting off with the players that have left the club, the first of which was Thiago Coza. We bought him from Benfica as a bit of a project, a development player to go forwards with, but it hasn't really worked out. He still pretty much looks like the same player that he was at the start when we bought him, so we allowed him to move on. He has gone to Estrela de Amadora. The next player to leave the club was Ezequiel Fernandez. This one actually hurt a little bit. I didn't want to sell him, but he wasn't getting enough game time. Now, I think he's a fantastic footballer, but the money that we got, around £5.5 million, was valuable to us. And if he wasn't going to get in the first team, I had to just allow him to leave, which was sad, but it had to happen. And the final player to leave was Aaron Anselmino. He's a player who wasn't going to get into the first team. As I said, we do need to improve our centre-backs. So he was given up as a sacrifice because the first player that we went and signed was Gonzalo Escudero, former player from Racing Club. He comes in for around 750,000 to about £1 million, I think it was. 19 years old, was playing in the Argentine under-20s, and he has all of the ability, I think, to go on and be a fantastic centre-back. We're going to put him in a partnership with Sebastian Boselli. Now, this one is absolutely hilarious. We went to River Plate, of all places, and we poached their best defender. We did have to pay £8.5 million, and it did quite obviously state there was Boca Juniors River Plate tax to go on that. But we managed to get in there, we got our man, and we got out with the defender. And at 23 years old, the Uruguayan should slot in quite nicely and feature very often for our defence. The final player to come in season number 4 was Riquelme Felipe. He is a wonder kid who plays for Palmeiras. You might notice a pattern in terms of the wonder kids here. Keeping it in South America, we have gone and got the Brazilian wonder kid. He can play wide left, he can play wide right, he can also play through the middle. He is an exciting player for sure. So with all of the transfer business done, have any of the players had an impact on the first team, and what did we achieve in the competitions? To kick off the competitions, once again, we would play in the South American Recopa, and we would play against Atletico Mineiro this time, and we would beat them 5-2 over 2 legs. The next competition would be the Argentine International Super Cup. We would play against River Plate, and we would beat them 2-0. In the Supercopa Argentina, we would play against Ferro. We would beat them 3-0. In the Copa Argentina Axion Energy, we would go in the 5th round. We'd play against Platense, tried to rotate the team and very nearly got knocked out again. Took penalties, but we got through after a 2-2 draw. In the 6th round, we were drawn against Barracas Central. We beat them 5-2. In the 7th round, we would play against Atletico Rafaela. We would beat them 4-1. In the quarterfinals, we would play against San Lorenzo. We beat them 1-0. In the semi-finals, we would pair off against Talleres and we would beat them 1-0. And then we would play in the final against River Plate, where we would win 4-1. We have a little look at the match report for that. We absolutely outclassed them, reducing them to just 2 shots and 1 on target, which they scored from. We had 19 and 7, but goals from Boselli, Sforza, Palacios and Boselli would win us the Copa Argentina Axion Energy. In the Copa Libertadores, we would be drawn in Group A. We would be paired off with Red Bull Bragantino, Millonarios FC and Sports Boys. This time, though, we wouldn't win the group. We would finish in 2nd with a record of played 6, won 3, drawn 1, lost 2. We had a goal difference of just 4, and we finished on 12 points. We really struggled in that group. That, though, meant that we would qualify still. We go into the 2nd round, play against SC Internacional. We would lose 6-3 on aggregate in a season that really is disappointing, only finishing in the 2nd round of the Copa Libertadores. Finally, that means we turn our attention to the league and once again split into 2 phases. So in the league part of the league, the overall table, we would play in 41 games. We would win 33 of them, draw 6, lose only twice, have a goal difference of 89. We would get 105 points. Now, last season, we were pushed all of the way by a couple of clubs. This season, we were well off in the distance ourselves, winning the league by 15 points. If we look at some of the stats whilst we're here, Prestiani got himself a 7.47 average rating. We had Prestiani also get 9 Player of the Match awards. Leandro Bray got 9 clean sheets, and Talifico got himself 19 yellow cards. In the second phase, so the group, we were put into Group A. We would finish as top of that group, winning it with played 14, won 11, drawn 2, lost 1. We had a goal difference of 23, and we finished on 35 points, winning that phase by 10 points. That would put us through into the quarter-finals, where we would play against River Plate. We would comfortably beat them 3-1. In the semi-finals, we were drawn against Atletico Tucumán, beat them 3-1. And then in the final, we would play against Racing Club in a 0-0 board draw, which went all the way to penalties, but we managed to get our hands on the trophy. So, another fantastic season where we have pretty much won everything that we have entered apart from the Copa Libertadores. So, we haven't yet managed to crack the whole lot with the amount of games that we're playing, though. The squad and the squad depth that you need to go and win everything is insane. And when the money isn't good, it means that you really are digging deep in the final stages of the season. But what can you say? A league win in both phases. We have won the Copa Argentina Axion Energy, the Supercopa Argentina, the Argentine International Super Cup, the South American Recopa. The only one that eluded us this season was the Copa Libertadores. Looking at the finances heading into the final season of the Save, and once again I'm going to go on about money. This club just cannot generate revenue. I'm not too sure why. We are winning everything that we can win. We are selling players now to try and fund other players to come in, cheaper players. Okay, not cheaper players, but certainly the replacements aren't as expensive, or we're not spending as much on single players as we are recouping money by selling them. It means that we will have a transfer budget of £6.8 million, but the club is £6 million in the red. The wage budget is £647,000. We're spending £590,000. In terms of the club vision, we are still secure in our job. We still get a B from the board. And in terms of the actionable objectives, work within the wage budget, we're on course. Maintain the club's status as the most reputable team in Argentina, we are on course. Sign players to sell for a profit. So once again, the board know about the cash flow issue. Informational objectives, maximum 1-year contracts for players over the age of 32. And then at the end of next season, challenge for the Copa Libertadores, win the Torneo Binance. So from the board, we get the B, and they are trying to strive to make progress on and off the pitch. In terms of the highlights, the 5-4 Copa de la Liga Professional final penalty win over Racing Club. Very pleased with the 4-1 Copa Argentina Axion Energy final triumph versus River Plate. Pleased with the positive atmosphere in the changing rooms. In terms of the supporters, once again, B-. This is getting a consistent thing. Colombian players disappointed. Everything else pretty much on course. So, some good feedback heading towards the final season. Let's go and check in and look at the squad as we go towards Season 5. To look at the squad, we're going to do that in 2 different ways. As always, we're going to go through my best 11, or what I think is my best 11 going into Season 5. We'll then compare that off against my assistant manager through the squad planner, and we'll see where there are gaps where we can improve for the final season. So to kick this off, I would go with Escobar in goal, Barco, Escudero, Boselli, Gilberto. In the middle, Redondo, Sforza and Bernardo. On the left, Riquelme Felipe. On the right, Prestiani. And at the top of the pitch, Mieres. As always, let's start off by looking at Mieres' goal scoring record for the season. He got 15 goals in 32 appearances, or 19 in 46. So not quite as good as the previous 2 seasons, but he's still doing the business at the top of the pitch. Riquelme Felipe has come in, and he has had a big role playing off of the wing. 33 league games, 15 goals and 6 assists. Overall, 43 games played, 26 goals. On the other side, Prestiani continues to be impressive. Looking at his record, 38 games in the league, 21 goals, 14 assists. Overall, 52 games, 26 goals and 22 assists. He's been absolutely brilliant. The only problem with him, the vultures are now starting to circle around and they are looking at him and trying to get him off of us. Luckily for us, the one thing that we did was got rid of the minimum release clause in his contract, which meant that he can't go anywhere. Speaking of that minimum release clause, that's another thing that we did with this guy, Mr. Barco. We managed to put a minimum fee release clause at renewal of £30 million. That is one of the reasons why he's still at the club. And that sale, if it was to go through, if somebody was to try and buy him for £30 million, would set the club up and get rid of those debts. Let's look then at the squad planner, at my assistant's report. He goes with Escobar in goal also, Srirachi, Escudero, Figal, Bozelli, Redondo, Sforza and Medina, Barco, Prestiani and Mieres. So interesting to use Barco as an inside forward rather than a left back, but he can also play in the middle of the park too. Sforza, Medina and Redondo are sound. Escudero is coming through as a breakthrough defender. I would put Bozelli in the middle myself personally, but obviously he can play as a right back too. So I think looking at that, we still probably need a goalkeeper. We still probably need another centre back. I think right back we're covered, left back we're covered, and everywhere else on the pitch is pretty much sound. If we look quickly at his assistant report then, strength to acceleration, flair, technique, passing, vision, overall squad standard now. Even though the depth of the squad is not good, that's a weakness. The overall standard is good, so we'll take that. Off the ball, first touch, composure and attacking depth. And then those weaknesses are overall depth, reflexes, long throws, punching tendency, strength, goalkeeper depth, defensive depth. So exactly what I was saying, we probably need another centre-back. We need a goalkeeper too. So season 4 has brought us even more success, winning everything that we could win apart from the Copa Libertadores. That will definitely be the number one priority going into season 5. We want that trophy once again. Right then, if you're still with me at this point of the video, firstly, a big thank you. Secondly, if you could hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, I really would be grateful. I cannot thank you all enough for supporting the channel across the past couple of weeks and months. Watching it grow has been brilliant. Before you leave, don't forget there are other videos on the channel, such as hints, tips, tutorials, Wonder Kids, Let's Plays, a little bit of FM24 content for everybody on the channel. But for this one, I'm going to leave it there. Big thank you for watching. I'll see you on another video very soon.